Guys, we got breaking news coming out of FS1 as it's being reported that Undisputed co-host Shannon Sharpe will now be leaving the show that he and Skip Bayless started in 2016. This is absolutely huge news. We already had another shocker a couple weeks ago when Pat McAfee decided to go to the dark side and join ESPN, and now with Shannon Sharpe's departure, this will completely shake up the sports media industry. These two guys are some of the biggest talking heads in sports, so how this will all play out will be interesting. Shannon Sharpe and Fox Sports reached a buyout agreement which will see the co-host leave the show right after the 2023 NBA Finals. So this is happening really quick, give or take 1 or 2 weeks. Along with Shannon, Club Shay Shay, the popular podcast which he helped build on YouTube, which draws huge numbers, will also be leaving FS1. Anyways, so this now brings us as to the why, and many people are speculating that things simply haven't been right between Skip and Shannon since Bayless tweeted a Damar Hamlin tweet in the Week 17 Buffalo Bills game against the Bengals. For those of you who don't recall, Damar took a huge hit and fell backwards after getting up and lay knocked out on the ground for several minutes before paramedics had to come in and resuscitate him. Skip immediately tweeted out that he wondered how the league was going to finish the game before everyone, and I mean everyone, began attacking him for his insensitive tweet. The next day on Undisputed, Shannon stayed home as Skip hosted the show by himself, and then on the following day when Shannon came back, you could tell there was a lot of tension between the pair.
Skip tweeted something, and although I disagree with the tweet, and hopefully Skip would take it down, but I didn't want it.
Well, time out. I'm not going to take it down because I stand by what I tweeted.
Skip, let me finish.
All right, okay.
Go ahead.
No, you go.
After this clip, a lot of observers predicted that things between the pair were unrepairable, even with former FS1 coworker and ex-NFL player Marcellus Wiley stating that the two were headed for a breakup. He stated that these two were alpha dogs fighting for their territory. While Skip was a bigger name when the show first started, it's hard to not believe that his co-host maybe even eclipsed him on the show. Shannon Sharpe is known as that crazy unk at the barbecue and has really endeared himself with the audience with his many funny antics, one-liners, and facial expressions. He has a huge social media presence, and if I'm gonna be honest, I would say a lot more people probably watch the show because of him than Skip. Don't get me wrong, Skip is still the big name. He's still one of the highest paid sports debate show hosts in the landscape, but you could tell that Shannon was a guy who was really attracting new viewers and the younger audience. Even looking at their podcasting numbers, Club Shay Shay destroys Skip's show, which really hasn't taken off, leading many to believe that without a contrarian co-host to debate with, Skip just doesn't hit off with the audience that much. Hence, did Skip feel a certain way that he was maybe being overshadowed by Shannon? Who knows, but these guys are celebs and have huge egos, which now brings us to another issue on the show, money. Skip Bayless was clearly out-earning Shannon as it was reported that his salary was in the $6 million range, while Shannon Sharpe only made $3 million, which is a huge cry from his co-host's salary. Anyways, so where does this leave us now? ESPN has been slashing costs by laying off a lot of their staff, however a guy like Shannon Sharpe doesn't come around too often. Guys like Pat McAfee and Shannon Sharpe are what organizations need to break the bank, but it remains to be seen where all of this is headed. Shannon could, and in my opinion, is probably going to take the independent route, which in all honesty is probably the more lucrative option. With a bevy of new independent shows flourishing on social media, I think it's very possible Shannon goes independent with Club Shay Shay, which gives him more freedom and control to say what he wants. He's probably looking around and seeing what guys like Marcellus Wiley, Ryan Clark, Brandon Marshall, and all them other former players are doing in sports media and seeing how much success they've achieved. Hence, he probably foresaw this while drawing up his Club Shay Shay contract because it was really imperative for Shannon to take the show with him if he ever left, that he kept the rights to the show and its content. So maybe he'll continue doing Club Shay Shay and focus 100% on the show. That said, who is FS1 going to pair with Skip Bayless? They're obviously going to need another strong-headed loudmouth who's a pro LeBron guy, and just looking at the landscape, I just can't see anyone who fits that mold other than Nick Wright. However, the only problem is he's white. And I don't know if you've noticed, it's gonna look weird having two white guys debating on a sports show. I can't recall the last time that has happened. I don't mind it personally, but producers and execs will. The only other candidate I wouldn't mind seeing debate Skip is someone like Rob Parker, but he just doesn't have the same social media presence that Shannon had. Anyways, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens from all this and how this shakes everything up.